LadyLucidity ASMR. Hello there, my lovelies, and welcome to another craft video. Today I am going to show you a little pet project that I set for myself. So it's been a long time since I have used wire in my crafting, but I really wanted to make something sculptural, and if you guys have seen my commission roleplay video that I put up last week, then this will look very familiar to you guys. So if you haven't watched that, then I would urge you to watch that first. So today I'm going to be using Bene Craft wire. This is a 2mm aluminium wire, so it's very soft and easily bendable, but with the 2-inch thickness it keeps its shape pretty well. And then I've just got some cutters. Okay, so today I'm going to be making a fairy piece, and these are the legs that I have pre-prepared, so to say. Okay, so hopefully she will be able to sit in a nice curved position. So the two legs will sit sort of like this. Okay, and then I've also made some basic skeleton sort of arms ready for moulding around, and again I can bend these either way I like to make them a bit more realistic in their position. Okay, so first of all we're going to need to start to connect the elements together. So what I'm going to do is, whilst working with the legs, I'm going to need to attach them to each other and then attach them to a main body part, I guess you could say. So I want to make sure that these are good and sturdy, because these are primarily what are going to be stabilizing my sculpture. Okay, so I'm going to connect the two as best as I can and then try and build the body outwards from that. Okay, so a couple of little facts about this piece that I made. She is made with over £30 worth of craft wire, because these craft spools cost me around £10 each, so not cheap, but I wanted to make a bigger sculpture than what I normally work with. I wanted it to be a bit more of a statement piece than smaller ones that I have previously made, so we'll call it an investment in my art. Okay, so here I'm just taking one long piece of wire and, as best as I can, wrap it around and try to thread it through the legs so that it's nice and stable, and then just rebend the legs and the ankles and the knees back into a more natural sitting position. Okay, so each stage I will be moulding them back again. So now I'm looking to work on the body part. Okay, so we've got the tops of our legs there, so now I need to make a cylindrical component which will start the body. So there's a few techniques you can use to build up your sculpture if you want to try this at home, but this is just how I do it. So I'm taking a couple of strips of wire and I'm going to twist them around themselves. So just like this, not being particularly neat, just wrapping them around each other, okay? Which is very easy, and because it's an aluminium wire, I don't have to worry about trying to bend it with pliers or that sort of thing. Also, you'll notice I'm not wearing any gloves. I'm pretty used to working with this sort of stuff, so I get the occasional scratch, but nothing too major. So if you do want to be a bit more safety conscious, then maybe a pair of gloves might work well, but I just find it easier to work with my hands as they are, so I get a better feel for the wire, I think. Okay, so this is going to be our central piece, and then this hook here will hopefully become our sort of shoulders and our neck attachment. Okay, so if you just imagine this little piece here and sticking up kind of like that. So obviously she needs some meat on her bones, so the next part of this make I am going to be using lots and lots of strands, and I'm just going to loosely wrap them around to make our central body. So I'm just going to show you guys with some of this wire here. Okay, I'm just going to cut these so they're two separate pieces. Okay, so thread it through my top loop to secure it, so just like this, and then wrap it around. Okay, all the way to the bottom. Okay, so I'm just trying to secure that top and then just kind of loosely begin to wrap it around your figure. Okay, so as she's going to be quite a curvy female, I'm going to make the waist a bit narrower and then have her curve out. So that means I need to use more wire at the bottom than the top. Okay, so at this point I'm now just using my whole spool, and because it's so squishy I can shape her a bit better. She looks like she's been mummified at the moment. Okay, so this is just where I'm adjusting and repositioning to see how she's going to fit together. Okay, so you can kind of see the start of a figure. Okay, okay, so I've reshaped her a little bit, and I've made sure that the base of the body is a bit more open, so not as tightly wound, and that's so that we can attach the legs, and then obviously at the top here we're going to attach the arms from the shoulders. Okay, so this is a very, very thin piece of wire. I think it's a 0.5, something like that, and I'm using this basically like string. So we're going to thread it through our shoulder area of our torso, just like that. Okay, and this should keep it in place while I intertwine the other parts of wire, and that will then properly secure it. So for now it's very loose, but it will stay in that place. Okay, so this is where I grab my wire and thread it through, and I'm trying to thread it through part of the arm and then into the main torso. Okay, so it's a bit difficult to see, I do apologise, but hopefully it makes sense. Okay, and because it's so bendable, I can just loop it and pull it round like it's string. Excuse the toddler. My little boy has a very curious mind, which is absolutely fine, but I can't have him playing with pointy objects. So, okay. So, making sure that's nice and secure. It's looking a bit more stable now. Okay. So we're going to attach the other arm now and doing the same thing. Just grabbing a really thin piece of wire and threading it through our main torso and just doing a simple knot to tie it on, and then we'll continue to wrap the wire around the arms and the shoulders. Okay, so now you can kind of see it's a bit more structurally sound. I will probably reinforce it a little bit more, but for now that's totally fine. Okay, so you'll see here how I've got the flat part of the torso up against the legs, so it's very loose down the bottom, and that's so that it can sit flat up against the legs, and also so it's easier to attach to the legs. Okay, so right, for now I'm going to try and attach them together using the same technique that I used on the arms. Okay, so this is how she looked when I connected it all together, and I popped a little head on her as well. Okay, so you can kind of see she's in a rough sort of sitting position. It is a lady, but I didn't want to give her any too distinguishing features. It's just going to be a bit of a androgynous kind of style wire sculpture, so I've just left her as is for now. Okay, so I used 2 large pieces of wire wrapped around to make these wings, and you'll notice again that there's a loop in the top, and this is just to be able to secure them to the back part. Okay, so obviously if you want to make this at home, you don't have to do that stage. I just find it a lot easier. So for the wings, I had a flash of inspiration whilst coming up with this concept. I wanted them to have an iridescent, kind of that fairy magical feel about them, rather than just being plain wire. So I went searching online for some iridescent film to cover my wings with, and this, believe it or not, is just some party bags from a party shop on Amazon. So they were very cheap, and there's a lot of them, but they were perfect for the effect that I was going for. You can buy iridescent films and plastic coatings online, but I found they were very expensive and they were very rigid. I wanted something that was going to be delicate and light, just like fairy wings should be. So I'm so happy that I found these. Okay, so now I'm going to attach these to my wings. So for this I ended up using a mixture of 2 techniques. So what I did was I popped the first baggie over the top and drew around it using a template. And then once I'd covered all of the sections of my wings, I then added more layers and kept folding them and wrapping them around. So kind of like wrapping a present, I guess. So I used my hot glue gun for this, just to attach them easily. Okay, so this was the finished effect that I got, and this is with 3 layers of the iridescent film, but I think it works perfectly for fairy wings, so I will probably do another couple of coatings just to make sure they are weatherproof, because she is going to go outside. But for now, just for video purposes, we'll just stick with the 3 layers. Okay, so now I'm going to forcibly wiggle this little thing in here, trying to get under as many pieces of wire as possible. This stage can be very fiddly, so it does require a lot of patience. Okay, and then I'm just using my pliers to pull it out the other side and to bend it into position. Okay, so I'm being very violent with my poor fairy, I do apologise. It's very difficult trying to do a wingectomy. Okay, so just bending any sharp pieces that are sticking up out of place. We don't want her to be sticking anybody. Okay, so after a few adjustments, this is how she turned out. I think I'm going to use some more of the plastic film just to cover up the connecting areas where the wings and the back connects, just to make it a bit more neater. But overall, I'm very pleased with how she came out. This was just a really fun little piece that I have been wanting to make for the longest time, and I think in future I would definitely be making more of these. I will have quite a collection by the end of this winter, I imagine. Possibly on smaller scale though, but I love how this looks. I just love the way that the wings like change colour in the light. So thank you guys so much for watching this little video. I hope you found it relaxing and a bit of fun. If in the future I have any more crazy sculpture ideas, I will share them with you all. So thank you once again for watching, and as always, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys, and